To the top of the roof again. Because we've pushed these in, obviously, these are now going to overlap. Put one underneath the other. Now what we can do is just take a small lump out the top of this one, just out the front, put this one back onto the top of that one or vice versa. You can cut the small lump out the front and that will just sandwich back together again. Seam weld it at the top, seam weld it underneath. Then what we're going to do is put a box section straight across, a 30 by 30 3mm thick box section straight across here to sturdy this up. Before, as you can see, it's very flimsy metal. Once that's welded back together, you've got your box section inside, it becomes very sturdy. The same with the back, one goes underneath the other, put your cut straight across and weld them back together again. It's very straightforward. As long as you've got your measurements right, it's very straightforward. You can't go wrong, just make sure those measurements are correct. Obviously all this welding can be done later after you've made sure everything's fitted. As long as you've got your measurements right, it will fit. You'll find this big 4-inch 3mm plate, which is going to go at the top where the windscreen was. And we haven't welded it up or cut this is just to show you where it goes. Now that's going to sit nice and neat in there and weld it in. Obviously, just do a couple of tack welds just for now, because you might want to pull it out if you think you may have got it wrong. Obviously this, on the top going straight across, is then going to sturdy the front up as well. There's a box section in the centre of here. So you've got the box section running across, and then you've got this on across. After that, you'd have no problem standing on it, it'd be that strong. The reason we're putting this on is the windscreen is going to be brought downwards. Straightforward job, just slide it forwards. We'll come to this after we put the roof skin on. Obviously we've got to lift this up and cut this. This is just to show you. We'll come back to this after we've done it. Show you how well we've done it. You'll see on the frame on the back 2 arms coming down. One big one right down to the bottom. That's going to hold the rear quarters on. And this one. This one's coming up from here as well. Straight down. And it's slipping in between your inner quarter and your outer quarter. And what we're going to do with this is a very sturdy part of the car at the top. Very, very thick metal here. And this is where we need to weld it to. This is going to lay flat against here. Push that in. And we're going to push this across, over and round it. We're going to weld this up across there and around this box section. As you can see, we've also got this here as well. So not only have you strengthened up these with box section underneath, you can run 2 lines of box section underneath this to strengthen this up. We've also strengthened this up. We've also put the plate on the front, and we've also got this on the back. So you've got like a very big roll cage in there, if you'd like to think. Now because the roof's been shortened, it did used to come back up to here. So from there to there is only 1 metre. So to have the strengthener on the front, then another strengthener in here, then another strengthener in the middle, then that, it then becomes very, very strong. As you can see, this is the other side. It's been welded in. Just need to tack that piece in there and weld that in a bit neater. Then that's nice and sturdy. So now the back of the car is looking like this. Now what we're going to do later on is put a 3mm thick plate straight across the back. And then what's going to happen, straight from that plate going across there, is another plate that's going to come straight up the back of here and straight up the back of there and stop any water getting in. So that's another plate's going to go straight down there and then straight across, so all that's sealed. And because it's 3mm thick sheet steel, it's much better than the usual 1.2mm thick, which is in my view not very safe at all. So if someone was to run up the back of this car, I don't think there'd be much left of their car. Not only have you got that 3mm thick plate there, you've also got the 3mm thick plate coming up here. You've also got this big box section, which is like a bull bar in itself. It's bolted on up here, and it's welded when you're happy with it. The 3mm plate coming straight down here, welded onto the bottom up there. That then makes it very, very, very strong. Looking inside here again, where we'd previously cut inside there, you'll see a piece of metal straight across here. What we're going to do is going along here, you'll see this lip on yours, along here, then along here. It's double thickness here. This bit is joining the underside here, so don't chop it off right up on that edge. Leave that lip there to give this panel, let it retain its strength. And it's the same on this one here. Leave these two here. It'll end up looking like that. That's just to allow the exhaust to come through and up into the bumper. You could, if you wanted, leave it in and bring the exhaust lower down, but then you'd see a piece of metal coming across in your bumper hole at the back. So we remove this. It's only a flimsy piece of metal, but making sure that you're leaving the sturdy part where the two are joined. I know they're only spot welded, but still leave this on. Coming back to this pillar, what we're going to do, angle grinder, we're going to cut up 2 inches, cut down 2 inches, both sides, and we're going to bend this open. What we're going to do is put 2 30x30 3mm box sections running from inside here up inside this pillar. So that's 2 30x30 3mm. You can run them 6 inches from down up if you wanted, or you can run them all the way, that's up to you. But you've only upset the bottom edge. Right. Once you've put those box section in, we can then push this back down together and weld this across. Weld it all the way around. Obviously we've got a gap there that still needs to come down. Nice and tight, and weld it straight across. Make sure you've got a good weld on it. If you're not that good at welding, I suggest you get somebody in that is good at welding, because obviously this piece is quite vital to the safety of the roof, keeping that up. This is why we're putting an extra 2 layers of box section in there. Also, when you're bending the roof, when you're putting this in, there's a measurement at the front, and that's 53 inches. That's upside down. It's 53 inches, and that's from this corner here, this corner, to the door. That's the inside. You take the rubber off the door on the inside and measure from there up 53 inches. As long as these measurements are right, as long as this measurement is 53 and the one on the other side, from that corner to that side is 52, you can't go wrong. It's impossible to go wrong. As long as these measurements are right. If you don't get these measurements right, which I can't see why you would, unless you did it on purpose, you won't have a problem with this at all. No problem whatsoever. Oh, that's straight across. 53 inches. Obviously, you're doing the same measurement from this door to the corner up there. Measure both of them. Same on this, on the back. From that corner to that bottom corner, from the top corner to this bottom corner. Same with this one. Coming back to the section here, at the back of the quarters, this inside edge here, you have to give that a tap, bang that in, because this needs to go in where it wants to go in. Don't bend this thinking it's not going to fit. Bend that piece inwards so it fits nice and snug. Now don't start pulling at this outwards, because what happens when you put your rear quarter on the inside actually touches this. And we don't want this pushing the rear quarter out, so make sure that you bend this in enough for this to slot into.